Hello everybody, welcome back. Hopefully you didn't go anywhere. Hopefully you just clicked to the next video. And it's okay if you did. If you had things to do and you could only stand 15 minutes of me at a time, I'm okay with that. But I'm glad you're back. That's the key. The key is that you keep coming back. And that's what I'm appreciating more than anything. I appreciate you watching this video, okay? I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going over what we've already gone over. Please go back and look at the other videos. But what I'm going to focus on today is at this point in time, the next two 15-minute segments, is I'm going to focus on the design of the character that we're creating from beginning to end, the character that we're creating from beginning to end. I'm going to focus on his design right now, okay? And I'm going to, this is a character that like I said before, I created a long time ago. And I don't care. I apologize. I don't mean to keep repeating myself. But looking through the camera and doing this. He was called Super Sensor, okay? And he was essentially a Daredevil ripoff, okay? For those of you who did catch the Netflix, there was also a movie. Some of you who read comics, Daredevil is a blind lawyer, and he got hit with radioactive material, and he went blind. But his other senses increased. His other four senses increased. His sense of smell, his sense of taste, his sense of touch, his hearing increased. And he actually kind of ended up relying on his hearing probably more than anything else. But he also developed something called a radar sense, where he can kind of tell there's something here, but then he'd smell that it was paper. And he would know that there was paper sitting in front of him because he'd use all of his senses, to figure out what was going on. And as Matt Murdock, his alter ego, you couldn't really, he went around as if he was a blind man, even though with his radar sense and his super senses, he was probably better off than we are. Not that he could tell that this paper was white. Well, I guess because of the way the light reflected off the paper, he could tell there's different shades to it, but which shade he may not be able to know. But in either case, that was Super Sensor, and I had him in a mask that was it was just basically a mask, and it would cover his face completely. It was all black, and it just kind of covered his face. Now, it should probably be more like this. And the gray part you're seeing is just the light reflecting off the black mask. Okay, and it's something. Man, it's so hard drawing through the camera. It's a little something more like this, right? And I'm going to take the Black Lightning concept from when I was a kid. I remember Black Lightning. He had a mask that looked something like this. And I'm doing this fast, folks, so please forgive me. But it had a bit like a big afro. It was created in the 70s, and everyone was wearing big afro. Not everyone, but a lot of people had big afros in the 70s. So his mask had a big afro and a white mask in front. In fact, let me show you what it looked like. I have a copy. Here's what it looked like. The thing is that he could take the mask off. See the big afro and the mask? He could take the mask off. And I should have prepped this for you. I didn't think I was going to be doing this. But when he took the mask off, this is what it was like. Okay? So I'm going to do something like that with Super Sensor, except instead of a big afro, I'm going to make him have dreadlocks. Why not, right? I'm doing this really fast, so they're not going to look right. I'm more representing than anything else. I'm kind of looking at Cully Hammer over here. Cully Hammer's a great artist. And he's doing you see how he just kind of represented it here? So I'm going to kind of do like representation real quick. But I don't even have the time right now to do what he's doing, so I'm just going to kind of, He's going to have a, this should be all blacked in. All of it should be blacked in. But he's going to have, the mask will have dreadlocks. And then when he takes it off, it'll still hold that whole shape. And I don't know whether to give him like a high and tight afro, or whether to just make him bald. I haven't decided yet. But these are the kinds of things that you can work through, okay? And when we talk about the figure, I'll get into a little bit more about what I'm doing here. But I'm going really fast and putting in his face real quick. And it's just basic representation. I'm also drawing through a camera, so forgive me for that. But I'm going to give him that, okay, as designing for the character. Now, again, don't get frustrated if yours doesn't look like this. Remember, I've had years of it, and one of the things I'm trying to do in this video series is I'm doing things like drawing without lines. I'm also drawing through the camera, and the reason I'm going to say this again. The main reason I'm doing a lot of this stuff is so that you don't have to feel like I'll never be as good as this guy. I want you to see that you can do it. It'll be a representation and it'll work, okay? And the more you do it, the better it'll get. So those of you that are looking at this going, man, this guy's not really very good. Understand that I'm doing it through a camera, I'm doing it real fast. I'm not trying to do it very good. Those of you who are looking at that going, man, that's good. You can get there very easily, okay? And we're gonna get there. Just hang on. Just stick with me through this series, okay? I've already taught you a lot more than you think you know. Now, again, I'm gonna keep everything. He's gonna be in dreadlocks, and he's gonna have the black mask like that, and it's gonna be more like a hood than anything else. And his initial design was basically just. It was basically just a black costume. Daredevil's was a full red costume. His was just a black costume. So he's a little bit of Black Lightning. He's a little bit of Daredevil. And again, no matter what you do, no matter what concept you come up with, it's almost guaranteed that somebody's come up with it before. You may think it's original. And you may even be using 21st century technology, but core concepts are core concepts. There's only so many plots in the world. Prince, to me, was a musical genius, and Prince said there's only so much you could do with musical chords. They all start to sound the same because you can only do so many things with the guitar. And if anyone heard that man play the guitar, he was really good. And when it comes to stories, there's only so much you could do with stories. What the key to me in a story is you take the character and you make him relatable to people. When people can read something relatable into the character, that's the key to success. The rest of it, is not important as long as you're not blatantly ripping somebody off. As long as you're not taking, say, a drawing of Batman and you're taking some white out and you're changing a couple of lines. Do you know what I'm saying? Create your own creation. Could he be inspired by Batman? Sure. I mean, pretty much any superhero who doesn't have superpowers is kind of inspired from Batman anyway. And pretty much every superhero is inspired from Superman in one form or another. Anyway, I'm thinking that, from what I remember, his gloves kind of did this. And I think I'm going to keep that concept. And I don't think I'm going to do the underwear on the outside thing that was very common in 1970s comic books. I think a lot of superheroes have grown up a little bit. And I'm going to not do that. But his boots and his gloves kind of came up and out a little bit. And I think I'm going to keep that concept. Man, it's been so long since I tried to imagine what this character looked like. But So I'm basically going to keep this as his design. It doesn't look like a lot, but you have to remember, like when you do designs like this, you're just kind of you're kind of grasping at straws, and the more you draw the person, the more real the person's going to get. Now, there are those who may be thinking more cartoony, and let me see if I could do this real quick. I'm not a whole lot into being a cartoonist. I respect the profession, but see, no matter what I do, it always just starts looking superhero-y. But a lot of times with cartoonies, the heads are bigger usually than normal, and I don't want to. But you kind of go with this kind of concept. But try out several things. Like, again, you don't have to do superheroes, but maybe you're looking at the way the person dresses. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start that. He's going to be see, he's an ex-athlete who's come back to the community. And like when I was describing Black Lightning the first time in the first video, I was saying that he came back to fight, which is not entirely accurate. What he did was he came back to be a school teacher, along the lines of an old TV series around the same time called Welcome Back, Kotter. So it was a situation comedy. But Jefferson Pierce came back to be a school teacher in a school in a city called Suicide Slum. And Suicide Slum is a fictional small piece of section inside of Metropolis. For those of you who went to the movies and seen them, Metropolis is the city that Superman lives in. And in this big giant city, I'm just going to make a representation here, okay? You had a small little section called Suicide Slum that was, not where the Daily Planet was, or where Clark Kent lived, or Lex Luthor. But the Suicide Slum was where Jefferson Pierce went back to school. He grew up in that area. He went out, he became a track and field star, and he went back to become a teacher at a high school that he graduated from. And when he was there, he started encountering, there was a lot of drug problems, and somebody got killed. I think it was a student of his. And because this student got killed, he became Black Lightning. And for those of you who watched the Black Lightning TV series, this is what the whale looked like in the comic. You've seen the TV series. See, one of the kids got killed. And this is what inspired him to become the superhero. This kid was like their #1 basketball star. And I'm pointing down and I'm not looking at the camera, I'm looking at the comic. This kid was like the #1 basketball star. It's been a long time since I remember it. That's what I believe happened. And then they killed him for it. And because of that, Jefferson Pierce became Black Lightning. He designed the costume along with Peter Gambini, who is also in the Black Lightning TV series, and he became Black Lightning. He didn't come back to fight, which is what I said. And this character of mine, he's not coming back to fight. He's coming back to open up a place called The Door. He wins these endorsements. He wins the decathlon. He wins these endorsements. He starts making a lot of money. He invests the money, and he creates, I'm going to guess, an endowment. It's probably the best way to describe it. An endowment is like an investment fund where you keep making money from the money you initially put in, and he's going to use that endowment to create a place called The Door, where kids are going to get together. Anyway, I'm going to cut this short now and pick up soon. I mean, right away. Hopefully you'll be back right away. Thank you.